gentlemen, welcome back, the Devil's Elbow.
Cinema with Julie Felix. Well, with me now in the studio, I welcome three members of the group Devil's Elbow, and they're Henry Luckman, Lorraine Luckman, and Reg Stalker. Good evening to all of you.
Hello.
Would you appoint one of you three to tell us about the Devil's Elbow group? Just an outline of what it does.
I thought I'd get it.
Everyone's pointing at Reg.
I thought I'd get it. That's because I do the chops on the stage. No, basically we're a Ceilidh band. We do a lot of band dances and Ceilidh work, you know. That's basically playing for the dancing as opposed to concert work, you know. But we also do the folk club scene as well. And just lately we've started playing a few pubs. So we're on the pub circuit. We've got sort of three strings to our bow, you know, and
Right.
that's how we pass our time.
In the pubs, though, it's not for people to dance. It's not the Ceilidh type. It's just an audience, isn't it?
Yeah, they can leap about as they want, you know, stand on the tables and things. But basically, that's a sort of a concert set.
Right. Now, there are three of you in the studio at the moment, and there are how many members of you altogether?
There are five. In fact, two of them unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. They're both missing, in fact. I think one's on holiday in Newcastle, and the other, we're
One's
not
gone.
quite
We've
sure.
lost him on
He
the
does a lot
gala
of bike
somewhere.
riding, I think, doesn't he? He does a lot of
Yeah.
bike riding. He should be in some country lane or something.
Yes, as long as he's back for our next
That's right, for our
dance,
next
which
gig.
is on Friday.
That's true. Yeah.
That's all that
We
matters.
won't worry about him until he's back on Friday.
Oh, I hope he reappears. How did you all get together?
It's a long story, really.
Bit of a history to it, isn't
It is, yes. So we Lol and I, we basically started it. I think we started about 6 years ago,
Yeah.
didn't we? We started playing for a Welsh dance team in Newport. We were fairly strange to the towns then, and it was very nice for us to join a dance team as their resident musicians, so that Lol and I played for them. We toured all over Gwent and Cornwall playing with them. That was a great deal of fun, but we thought we'd really like to do something a little more, and we always had this passion to start a band, a folk band, and so we I can't remember how did we start?
Well,
Who did we start with?
After the Welsh influence, we then had quite a bit of Irish influence, because our daughter used to belong to an Irish folk dancing team, and we were very interested in the music. And so we started up sessions in a pub in Newport on a Sunday lunchtime playing Irish music.
That's right.
And we met a lot of other musicians. And then we also found another pub would accommodate us in Usk.
Mm.
And we met other musicians there. And that's where we met Reg, who's with us at present. And we joined up together, and with a couple of different people at the time.
That's right.
And things happen, you know, you change, people drop out and things like
Mm.
this. And then we just ended up with the five of us. I think, Mike was with us. He's the mandolin player
Yes,
that's
he's
on
not
holiday.
here tonight.
He was with us when we played with the Welsh team, so there was the three of us. Then Reg joined us when we used to play at the pub in Usk.
Fridays, yeah.
Yes, and then we accumulated Quinn somehow, the guitarist.
Yeah, we still don't know.
I
if
think
we've
I
got Quinn.
found him one night in a club in Newport.
That's right.
I thought you said New York.
Although
no.
somehow
No.
Mike's the one that's
Yes.
been to New York.
Reg,
Soon, New York.
Reg is a fairly experienced musician, but Lola and I had a passing interest in folk music when I was a teenager. I used to go to the clubs to hang around, to listen to the music. Never liked it very much. And then Lol started going to folk festivals on her
Yes,
own.
that was up
may I
north.
add.
That was Yorkshire, wasn't it?
That's
and I got
right.
interested.
I had no interest in it at the time, but then she came back with tremendous enthusiasm from these folk festivals. The one she mainly used to mention was Durham. And eventually she came back with an instrument, which was a melodeon, a button. It's rather like an accordion, a button key accordion. And she persuaded me, in fact, to take up the violin again, which I'd dropped at the age of 15. As one does, of course, when one's a teenager, you start getting interested in other things, like going out. And so, some 10 years later, I started playing the violin again. And
Did you find it hard to go back to it?
yes, I did. Yes, but of course, I didn't have a music teacher to face up to anymore. So off we went. We started playing
We
just
didn't
between
have
the two of
anybody,
us.
did we? We were
No.
totally alone for about a year. possibly even longer, while I was learning to play the melodeon and you were finding your feet again with the
That's right.
fiddle.
Yes.
And then we luckily bumped into the Welsh and we started to play
Mm.
for them.
How
Yeah.
did it feel with the two of you both learning instruments? I mean, you had played the guitar before, the violin before, Henry, but
That's
both
right.
sort of trying to get up to standard with your
It
instruments.
wasn't. It
was
really
very
wasn't.
frustrating, I found it.
Yes.
Especially with
Mm.
me, because it was totally new to me, was the squeeze box, the
Mm.
melodeon. I mean, I used to play the keyboard years ago, but that was a completely different approach
Mm.
because I used to rely on music, reading music. But this time I found with the squeeze box I had to just play it by ear, you see.
Mm.
And Henry helped me a lot because with the fiddle he plays the melody and I used to follow him.
Mm.
And we found it very frustrating because a lot of the time I didn't have the chords needed, necessary
Mm.
chords on the box. It's a
Yes.
limiting instrument.
Mm.
It's really was a question of feelings one's way through it, I think. But it wasn't really, Sally. I don't think it was a question of coming up to standard. It was something that we did on our
It
own.
developed, didn't it?
And it developed,
Yeah.
and we used to, of course, I joined LOL eventually on folk festivals. We used to stand in awe of these marvellous Cayley bands that you do get at
But what did us
festivals.
good, was playing in sessions. Do you remember the
Yes.
sessions we used to join in on? with
That's
festivals?
right, yes, and that's always a good thing for anybody to do,
And
of course.
anybody can join the sessions.
That's
beginners,
right.
Reg,
anybody
did you
can
have a
join.
more orthodox method of getting into music?
Rock bands.
Was it?
Yeah, I used to play drums and in blues bands and rock bands and things. And then
So how come from rock and blues to folk?
yeah, I used to attend the local folk clubs. I've always liked folk music as well, so I used to go along there and suddenly nobody wanted blues bands anymore, so they wanted soul bands. So I did a stint with the soul band, but we had to wear sort of satin shirts and things.
Was that in what, 70s?
Oh yes, showing my age. Huh? Yes, in the 70s, you had to play the discotheques, soul music and stuff, and wasn't really my cup of tea. I did a bit of cabaret stuff as well, and then I started playing in a jug band around the folk clubs, and eventually we used to go out on this Friday night, as Henry said, to the Royal Inn Usk, for a couple of pints and a bit of a session in the bar, and created a bit of a following. The pub used to get packed. It was a good atmosphere. And then one night Henry and Law walked in and had this idea about forming a Cayley band, and they wanted a percussionist and a jug player. So there weren't many about in the pub at the time. I was the only jug player there, so they said, how about it? So I said, yeah, and I've been with them since. We've had one or two different guitarists and a pipe player that has since left us. But basically, this lineup, us three and the two that are away, been together for about 2 years now.
And you played drums in a rock band.
Yeah. Mm.
Am I wrong in saying that you don't really associate that at all with folk bands?
No, you don't.
Not the type of folk band that we are really, but there are a lot of folk rock bands.
Have you created a place for it?
No, they won't let me have a drum kit.
No, we won't.
They won't let me have a drum kit. I'm impressive for a drum kit, but they won't let me have a
Well,
drum
you
kit.
have
but,
progressed. You do have a drum. A
Yes,
baran.
yes.
What
In
type of
Irish
drum?
traditional music, we do a lot of Irish traditional music as well as Welsh and English traditional stuff. And one of the I'd like to think one of the main instruments that lends itself to the sound of the Irish bands is a baran, which is an Irish drum that you smash hollow.
And you have the
with a bowl.
bongos, remember?
And they have let me play bongos on certain numbers, yeah, so I can't complain. And I smash a cymbal in one as well.
Well, we're going to take a break now to listen to some music, and it's music from Devil's Elbow,
Wow.
and there it is. from Devil's Elbow, and with me from the group this evening are Henry Lutman, Lorraine Lutman, and Reg Chalker. That's the kind of music that people do actually get up and dance to. Do you find that your audiences increase?
Yes.
That you get more of a...
I think
think
we
we do.
surprise them quite often. They don't quite expect us to be the type of band we are, particularly if a pub has booked us,
Yeah, on the pub
or if it's a
too.
private do, like a wedding. And then I think that we really surprise them on the whole, because we've got two assets. We can get them up onto the floor to dance, and that breaks the ice. And if that doesn't work, then the songs do at the end.
Do you have a caller then?
Yes, we do, but we don't have a regular one. We actually hire and fire callers as we please.
We're using 3 at the moment.
We're using 3, and we circulate between those 3. We do need a caller because we're all so busy playing that it's very difficult to actually tell people what to do
Although
at
you
the same
call,
time.
you call a couple. If
I do, but I
necessary.
actually have to stop playing the violin,
Yes.
which distresses the violin.
Which upsets the band.
As in fact, my musicianship is so excellent that they miss
Yeah,
me.
we did point that out to him that we do miss the fiddle, yeah. But that's only in the Cayley where we require a call, you know. I mean, when we do concert work and stuff, we've got a set that we do just on our own.
Lorraine, you were talking just now about learning to play the squeeze box.
Yeah.
Are you tempted to pick up other instruments and see if they'd fit in, or do you just sort of leave it at that?
Well, I'm interested in the kind of instruments that sort of go with squeeze box. I play a melodeon, and I like the concertina as well. It's the same kind of thing. It's a kind of, is the word diatonic, where you press a button
Yes.
and pull it out.
It's rather like a mouth organ.
Yeah.
It's sort of
Not
providing...
chromatic, and so you have to play it by ear.
That's right.
I like that type of instrument, and also I play keyboard. I would like to play an accordion, but I don't tend to get on with the bellows very well. I get confused.
She does
with
well
them.
on
I
the
get very
synthesizer.
confused.
We use the synth as well.
Shush, that's not very ethnic, shush.
I know it's not very ethnic, but it's a nice
Canned
sound.
music.
It works. I think it works well.
Works
with
well,
the
yeah.
sound.
We have to choose a voice that suits the rest of the
Mm.
sound that we blend it
That's
in.
right.
And do you all sing?
After the fashion.
No, we don't. We don't. And yes,
We do have a vocalist.
we
who's
do.
not with us.
He's the one.
He's the
unfortunately.
guitarist that does the cycling. It's not him.
So I don't get a demonstration.
Fortunately not.
No, you don't.
Fortunately not.
Thank goodness.
But we do do the occasional chorus. We have been on. They let me sing one, which is a George Melly thing that we do when most of the audience are drunk.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we don't attempt it. And
And they let me.
Henry
does
has
sing a
his
few
pride and joy.
music hall things at the end of the
That's
set.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned George Melly there. Your material really is quite wide, is it?
Yeah, we do a bit of musical. We do that one particular George Melly thing. That's all. As I say, English, Welsh, Scottish. You know.
Yes. I think really with pub work, it's difficult for people to swallow traditional right the way through.
Yeah.
So what we do really is we try and warm their hearts a little bit by getting through to them by doing music hall songs of this type. To actually, really, we're a band that absolutely require feedback from our audience, and unless we get that, we feel as though we're wasting our time, don't we? And frequently sort of get very frustrated sometimes if
Yeah.
it's a new pub or something like this. So that really, as well as the traditional music, like the stuff you just heard, we do like to try and get through to our audience by doing something they can join in with, and something which is funny. We like to do funny
Yeah,
things,
audience
which
participation
Yes.
stuff, you know, which is
Humour.
the music
That's
hall
right.
lends itself to that. Especially in pubs, as I say, since we've been doing this pub circuit, where they used to country and western bands just sat in the country and western duo usually just sat in the corner playing, and then say
Well,
this
Quinn
one's called so and
sings.
so.
And
You know.
you're
Sings.
demanding something from them.
Yeah, right. We
Yeah.
we
Oh,
try and
yes,
involve them.
yes.
The one we do sort of a First World War sort of thing with a
Oh,
a big sheet comes down with the with the
The
chorus.
music
on,
sheet comes out,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Follow the bouncing ball, remember, Sal? In your youth, yes. And I dash about with a big stick pointed to the words, and they all join in. You know, that sort of
I
thing.
think we're trying
I
to
don't
get
remember
something
it
for
all.
everyone.
Not me, but we
No,
were
I
told
don't
about that.
know.
I used to go on.
And when's your next event? When are you next playing?
Well, the next one is Friday, and it's for the
The Rafa Club, Park Square off Stowe Hill. And I think there's a few tickets at the door. I think the tickets have been going pretty well, but that's not a Ceilidh as such. It's going to be us in concert with an occasional dance thrown in. And then we're doing a Ceilidh a week Saturday at
Caerphilly
Castle.
Yeah. Well,
There's a Greenpeace Ceilidh coming up in Goitra. I'm not sure, the 24th of September, I think.
24th.
Yes,
which is a
we're
good
looking
cause.
forward to that one,
Yeah.
which is a very special one
There are
to us.
various other things in between, I can't remember now. Those are the Ceilidhs, and we've got coming up shortly.
well, I wish you all the best, and thank you very much for coming in to all of you. That was Henry Lutman, Lorraine Lutman, and Reg Chalker from Devil's Elbow. Thank you indeed to all of you.